Tayari you're live. Uko live. Jamna sehemu ya kubadilisha camera. I'm with him here on the trip. Oh, my office. How can I change the camera iwe mbele? Unaweza kuingia kokote. Unaweza kuingia kokote. Nilipata hiyo challenge hata jana wakati tuna test. Sasa, can you excuse me because by now we are getting into the venue for Niki end stream hii link hatuwezi kuitumia. Ndio tulichokuta jana. Tumetengeneza link mpya. Kienda tu stream hatuwezi kutumia. Yaani tukiend stream hii link hataitumia na ile video inabaki ile. Wireless, hatuwezi wireless. Mm.
Morning, distinguished delegates, colleagues, and friends. On behalf of the Institution of Engineers Tanzania chapter and our partner organization, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to this side event, the 7th session of the Commission on Status of Women. Today's event is titled Breaking Barriers, Structural Reform to Advance Women and Girls in STEM. Our dialogue will reflect on how we can strengthen pathways for women and girls from STEM education to professional careers. As the global community continues to invest into innovation, industrial transformation, and climate solutions, STEM disciplines are central for this transformation. Yet, women remain significantly underrepresented in these critical sectors. Therefore, we should center our dialogue today on identifying what are the structural barriers and the practical solutions that can support girls' participation, progression, and leadership in STEM. We'll begin with the opening session. It's now my pleasure to welcome Chairperson of the Institution of Engineers Women Chapter, Dr. Zainab, to deliver her welcome remarks. Dr. Katima, the floor is yours.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Excellencies, distinguished guests, colleagues and partners, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Institution of Engineers Women Chapter, it is my great honor to welcome you to this side event alongside the 70th Commission on the Status of Women. We are grateful for your presence and engagement in our today's discussion under the theme Breaking Barriers, Structural Reforms to Advance Women and Girls in STEM Careers in Tanzania. This conversation comes at a critical time as we continue to address the persistent underrepresentation of women and girls in STEM fields that are central to innovation, economic transformation, and sustainable development. While progress has been made globally and nationally in expanding education opportunities, structural barriers continue to limit the participation and advancement of women and girls in STEM. These barriers include limited exposure to STEM careers at an early age, lack of mentorship and role models, persistent gender stereotypes, and unequal access to opportunities in technical professions. This year's CSW 70 theme, Ensuring and Strengthening Access to Justice for All Women and Girls, strongly reflects our work. Access to justice goes beyond legal systems. It also involves ensuring fairness in opportunities, equal access to education and career paths, and ability for women and girls to fully participate in shaping the technological and scientific future of our society. In Tanzania, empowering women and girls to pursue engineering and technology careers presents both a challenge and significant opportunity. Increasing women's participations in STEM is essential not only for gender equality, but also for strengthening innovation, enhancing productivity, and advancing inclusive national development. The Institution of Tanzania Women Chapter is committed to supporting this vision through initiatives that inspire, mentor, and empower girls and women to pursue STEM careers. Despite these efforts, challenges still remain. Limited resources, gaps in gender disaggregated data, and need for stronger institutional partnership continue to affect the scale and impact of our programs in supporting women and girls in STEM. Addressing these challenges require collective action and sustainable collaborations among government, private sector partners, educational institutions, and civil society organizations. Breaking barriers for women and girls in STEM is not only about representation, it's about unlocking the full potential of our societies. By breaking barriers in STEM, we are contributing to a broader vision of justice, equality, and inclusive development. Empowering women and girls in engineering strengthens innovation, drives sustainable development, and ensures that talents of half of our population are fully utilized, aligning directly with the Sustainable Development Goals and Africa's long-term vision and Agenda 2063. As we begin today's discussion, we look forward to the insights and recommendations from our distinguished participants. We hope this session will inspire a meaningful dialogue, strong partnerships, and practical actions to advance women and girls in STEM careers in Tanzania and beyond. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Katima, for those welcoming remarks and for the highlight of the kingdom that was written by women. It is now my honor to invite Honorable Anna Atanas, Minister of Social Development and Health, Children in Zanzibar, to deliver the opening remarks.
Thank you. Good morning, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, and partners, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor to address you at the 7th session of the Commission on Status of Women and to open this important side event organized by the Institution of Engineers Tanzania Women Chapter in collaboration with the Engineers Registration Board and our valued partners. I bring you warm greetings from the government of United Republic of Tanzania. Kazi na utu. Ladies and gentlemen, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM are fundamental to economic growth, innovation, climate resilience, industrialization, and development of modern infrastructure and health systems. Yet, no country can achieve sustainable development if half of its population remain underrepresented in these critical fields. Globally, women make up about 33% of researchers and around 35% of STEM graduates. However, their representation remains particularly low in engineering and technology fields. This gap reflects not a lack of ability, but structural barriers that limit opportunities for women and girls. In Tanzania, we have made important progress in extending access to education. However, access alone is not enough. Girls continue to face challenges that affect their participation and progression in STEM pathway, particularly at the secondary school level, where subject choices such as mathematics, physics, and chemistry determine future career opportunities. Recognizing this, the government of Tanzania has undertaken important reform. The revised National Gender Policy of 2023 strengthens our commitment to women's economic empowerment and participation in non-traditional sectors, including science, engineering, and innovation. Likewise, the revised Education and Training Policy of 2023 promotes strong STEM education through curriculum reform, digital learning, and practical laboratory-based technique. These efforts are aligned with Tanzania's long-term development vision, Vision 2050, which places science, technology, and innovation at the center of building competitive, knowledge-based economy. However, increasing women's participation in STEM require more than policy commitment. It requires structural change across education system, professional institutions, and industry partnerships. In this regard, the Institution of Engineers Tanzania Women Chapter has demonstrated the power of targeted initiative, science clubs, school outreach program, mentorship, and STEM exhibition, inspiring thousands of girls to pursue career in science and engineering. Ladies and gentlemen, the question before us today is simple but critical. How do we design a system where girls who excel in mathematics today can confidently become tomorrow's engineer, innovator, or technology leader without facing barriers along the way? Tanzania remains committed to working with government, international partner, academic, professional bodies, and the private sector to advance inclusive and gender responsive STEM ecosystem. Let us remember, empowering girls in STEM empower nation. When we remove barrier, we enable women and girls to design solutions that benefit all society. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you fruitful deliberations.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for those inspiring remarks in reaffirming the importance of empowering women and girls in STEM, and as well as highlighting the government initiative to support that. Before we move into the next session, we will hear a short intervention so that we can connect how this promoting STEM education is intertwined with our national development agenda, especially GDD 2050. I now invite Madam Irene Pesa, a representative from the Tanzania Planning and Commission, to share her initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you so much, moderator. As she said, I'm from the National Planning Commission, and the role of National Planning Commission is responsible for economic management and coordination of national plans in terms of planning formulation, implementation, and monitoring, which includes the new Tanzania Development Vision 2050. The implementation of TDV 2050 is guided by a 25-year long-term perspective plan, LTP, which serves as a framework for developing 5-year development plan and annual development plans. Our vision oversees a prosperous, just, inclusive, and self-reliant nation for the coming 25 years. What does our vision aspire for the next 25 years in terms of STEM issues? First of all, our vision targets to reduce gender gap by at least 85% and ranks among top 10 countries globally by 2050. Currently, we have reduced gender gap by 73.6%, and we are ranking 55 position globally over 148 countries. So the vision aims to increase women participation in formal employment, especially STEM-based sectors. In terms of building an inclusive STEM ecosystem, our vision commits to empowering women and girls in STEM through equitable access to STEM education and opportunities, removal of structural barriers limiting girls' participation in science and innovation, support for women to thrive as scientists, engineers, technologists, and innovators. Also, vision prioritizes reforms that strengthen girls' participation, including universal access to high-quality, inclusive education at all levels, strengthening science, mathematics, and digital literacy from early childhood, closing gaps in learning outcome, particularly in mathematics and science, and also supporting girls' transition into higher education and market-relevant STEM fields. In early childhood and foundation skills, the vision recognizes that STEM gaps begin early and must be addressed early. Thus, vision emphasizes that early childhood care and development as a foundation for future STEM, is a foundation for future STEM success. Thus, equal access to e-learning that fosters numerous curiosity and problem-solving skills, addressing gender biases in science and mathematics, and also creating pathways for girls to develop confidence in STEM subjects from a young age. In research and innovation, the vision prioritizes an inclusive research and innovation ecosystem that increases participation of girls and women in research institutions, innovation hubs, and technology centers. Support for women innovators and researchers through improved funding, infrastructure, and partnership, and also addressing gender disparities in research careers. STEM skills for women economic empowerment. The vision promotes equipping women with technical, engineering, digital, and analytical skills, and also enabling women participation in industrialization, digital transformation, energy, technology, and technology-driven sectors, and also reducing women concentration in low productivity sector through expanding access to STEM-based careers. Successful implementation of DERA of Vision 2050 requires, among other things, and this is one of the directives from Honorable Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, our President, during the launching of TDB 2050. One of these directives aligns sector policy and plan with the TDB 2050. That all sectors should review their policy and strategic plan to align with our vision. We have some good news. We had our policy of science and technology policy of 1996, and I'm a member of National Policy Analysis Team under Prime Minister. So we've reviewed the National Science and Technology Policy of 1990 to align with our national development vision. So the proposal is to prepare a national policy on science, technology, and innovation so as to align with our TDB 2050, is to make sure that the STEM issues are taken into consideration for the next 25 years. Thank you so much, Moderator.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that input and perspective, which links STEM development with the TDB 2050. We'll now move into the panel discussions, which will explore 3 key dimensions of advancing women and girls in STEM. Allow me to briefly frame the conversation I will have today. Across the world, STEM is becoming the backbone of modern economies, from renewable energy systems and digital technology to infrastructure and climate innovation. Countries are investing in science and technology to drive development. However, women remain significantly underrepresented in many STEM professions, particularly in engineering and technology fields that are critical for economic transformations. In Tanzania, the gender gap in STEM often becomes most visible during the secondary education when subject choices begin to shape the future career opportunities. This gap is influenced by a number of structural factors, yet we have also seen encouraging progress from different practitioners through different initiatives, such as those highlighted by the Institution of Engineers Women Chapter. Now, the key questions remains: how do we move from isolated initiative to systematic transformation? How do we ensure that girls can move confidently from classrooms to laboratories, from universities to professional practice, and from participation to leadership in STEM fields? We will now move into the panel discussion, which will explore 3 key dimension factors for advancing women and girls. Our first discussion will focus on structural barrier affecting girls' participation and progression in STEM education. I would like to invite Dr. Alice Isibika to share her reflection on this issue. Dr. Isibika, from your experience in engineering education and mentorship, what structural barriers mostly strongly affect girls' participation in STEM in Tanzania? You're welcome.
Thank you, Moderator. Good morning, delegates. So, why does this issue matter? Well, as most of us might be knowing, STEM drives innovation, infrastructure, and economic development. But women remain underrepresented in engineering. For example, in Tanzania, only 15% of registered engineers are actually women. So we need to strengthen the STEM pipeline for girls. It's a critical for inclusive development. So the gender gap, since when we started in 2015, the Women Chapter Institute of Engineers Tanzania, we had around 8% of women registered. But 10 years later, in 2025, we have 15%. So there is an increase. But out of this, only 5,000 women out of the more than 38,000 are registered. So the women are still underrepresented, both in education, but also at profession levels. This indicates there are existing systemic barriers affecting entry and progression in STEM careers. The first structural barrier we have is the stereotypes and social norms, whereby STEM fields are often socially perceived as male-dominated fields. There is still a belief that boys are better at math and science. There are also gender career expectations, which usually discourage girls from technical careers, which involve, for example, the machines. Expectation that also girls should prioritize family roles, like raising kids at home. Lack of society encouragement affects confidence, but also aspirations. And also cultural expectations influence subject and career choices. In primary and secondary schools, we also have shortage of qualified STEM teachers, insufficient laboratory facilities, including computers and internet connectivities. In classes where there are a large number of students, the resources are also not enough. Also limited gender training and professional development for the teachers, and unequal distribution of STEM resources between rural and urban settings. We did a case study in 2025 whereby we visited 79 secondary schools, and our results show that there are still shortages of science teachers, particularly in physics, mathematics, chemistry, biology, and ICT, whereby the percentage gap is more than 30% of the schools. And out of the 79 schools that we visited, some schools still lacked libraries, science laboratories, and also computer labs. Some schools had computer but also lacked ICT teachers. Unequal laboratory infrastructure and libraries across schools. Also, few schools lacked science clubs, but even those that had science clubs, sometimes the participation of girls was really limited, since they were expected to go home early due to distances at night and home responsibilities. And then we also have structural barriers affecting women in STEM, work-life balance. They're expected to raise families and meetings and so much at the society level more than men. We also have cultural perceptions affecting women's participation in engineering. There are few structured mentorship programs, but even the few that exist, the participation of women is also still very low compared to the male engineers. We also have limited internship opportunities, specifically targeted for the females or women engineers. Still workplace discrimination in some companies and restricted access to field work experiences. And we still have few female role models and mentors, particularly engineering leadership positions. But also in policy and finance, we have limited funding for most of the initiatives in STEM, insufficient financial support to transition from education to career, but also weak implementation in STEM policies, limited incentives for the industry to support women in STEM, financial barriers, which limit access to training and low investment in early identification, development of STEM, and talent and innovation. So in the end, women representation is not usually a result of individual choices, but there exist interconnected structural barriers across the education system, workplaces, and social norms. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lydia, and I really agree with you, especially with the issue of role model. It's very hard work to become who you can see. So it's very important aspect and what we are doing back in Tanzania. Now we move to our second panelist. Now we move to our second panelist to explore the role of professional institution and women professionals as mentors, role models, and change agents. Now I would like to invite Dr. Turinave Mwamila to share her perspective. Dr. Mwamila, you're welcome.
Thank you, Engineer Mkufu, and thank you, Alex, for sharing prevailing structural barriers existing in our country. Talking from perspective of professional institution, focusing on the experiences of Institution of Engineers Tanzania, they play an important role in shaping engineering practice, professional ethics, and leadership in society. And in Tanzania, specifically the Institution of Engineers and its women chapter demonstrate how professional bodies and women professionals can act as mentors, role models, and change agents within the engineering sector and society at large. With regard to the role of professional institutions in engineering development, such as the IET, they are essential in advancing the engineering profession by promoting standards, ethics, and professional growth. And this can be seen from perspective of promoting professional standards and ethics, where they set ethical standards and codes of practice that guide engineers in delivering safe, sustainable, and responsible engineering solutions. With regard to capacity building and professional development, we organize conferences, workshops, seminars, training programs that enhance the technical and leadership skills of engineers. But also with regard to networking and knowledge exchange, these institutions will provide platforms where engineers can share experiences, innovations, and best practices to solve national and global challenges. But as well, we play a role of policy advocacy and national development, where we advise governments and stakeholders on engineering matters related to infrastructure, environment, climate resilience, and any other prevailing issues at the time. And examples of these from my experiences, looking from the angle of national level, we have the Engineers Registration Board, which conducts the structured apprenticeship program, which guides the graduate transition to professional engineers. And so far, 24% of females have benefited since 2002. But also it conducts leadership program for women professional engineers to guide them to become leaders and decision makers, as well as capacity building initiatives. But at the regional level, IET, this Institution of Engineers Tanzania, is a member of the Federation of African Engineering Organizations, which fosters knowledge exchange across region. But also within this FAOE, we have the Women in Engineering, which conducts on annual basis activities for young girls empowerment. But under East African Federation as well, there is a signed mutual recognition agreement among the member states, which allows the free cross-border mobility of engineers to professionally practice. But looking at the women professionals and mentors, within the professional institution, we play a vital role in mentoring younger generation of engineers and students. And through initiative, for example, of Institution of Engineers Women chapters, the experienced engineers guide young professionals on career development, but also mentorship programs. They connect students, early career engineers with the senior professionals. But also women engineers, we support mentees in overcoming the gender barriers within the STEM fields. So these mentorship initiatives, they help build confidence, skills, and professional networks for emerging engineers. But also looking from the perspective of women professionals role models, we serve as visible examples of success in a traditional male-dominated field. Our presence demonstrate that women can excel within the engineering careers, but at the same time, it inspires girls and young women to pursue STEM education, but also helps to break the stereotypes that engineering is a male profession. So as a result also of these outreach activities which we engage on, such as school visits, which are organized within the institutional activities, the women engineers, we get to encourage the girls to pursue science and engineering careers. but also women professionals, change agents. We are agents of transformation within the engineering sector and society. And through these professional institutions, we are able to advocate for gender equality in engineering, but also promote inclusive policies and professional opportunities, but as well participate in national discussions on infrastructure as well as many other prevailing issues. So events like the TAWESE, Tanzania Women Engineers Convention and Exhibition, which are organized by the Women Chapter, provide platform for dialogues, innovation, and empowerment of female engineers. So conclusively, I can say that professional institutions like ours serve as a platform, a critical platform for advanced engineering practice and leadership. But at the same time, through the various initiatives that we conduct, women professionals, we are able to serve as mentors, role models, and change agents, inspiring future engineers, promoting gender equality, as well as contributing to national development. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fubilave. And we are going to the next discussion, whereby we are going to focus on the project-based learning and experiential as the pathway to inclusion. Dr. Zainab, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So the Institute of Engineers Tanzania Women Chapter, the Institution of Tanzania Women Chapter promotes participation and retention and leadership of women in engineering and technology. Since 2015, we have implemented a range of impactful initiatives aimed at strengthening the role of women in STEM and contributing to national development. Our key activities have been, first, the Outreach and STEM Awareness Program, mentorship and fellowship initiatives, the Mama Mhandisi Women Engineering Award, and national conferences and strategic partnerships. So the Tanzania Women Engineers Convention and Exhibition, TAWESE conferences. This is one of our flagship platforms where the participation has grown from 200 women to 1,000, reaching over So to date, we have successfully organized 9 national conferences, bringing together women engineers to first build capacity, share experiences and challenges, speak with a unified voice on opportunities and solutions. These conferences also integrate discussions on leadership, innovation, and work-life integration, which have greatly benefited participants. We have seen remarkable growth from 200 participants in the early years to over 1,500 participants in our most recent conferences, reaching a total of 9,981 women engineers through the professional development and networking initiatives. We also invite guests of honors. As you can see in our last picture, we invited, at that time she was not the president, but she's now the president, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan. So we invite guests of honors who are from high government positions so as to engage with stakeholders and for them to hear our challenges. So through our conferences and dedicated STEM fairs, we engage students from primary, secondary, and university levels. And the goal is to promote hands-on experience and connect classroom learning to the real-world application. This is usually for the primary and secondary. And for the university students, we are supported to develop innovative solutions to societal challenges and demonstrating impactful innovation is possible even with limited resources. Outstanding projects are recognized and awarded further to encourage creativity and problem solving. So outreach programs, which this is also one of our impactful researchers, we focus on inspiring the next generation by first sharing real life stories and women engineers. For example, we have women engineers that have been supervising the big projects like the Tanzanite Bridge, which is 1.3 kilometers, the Kigongo Busisi Bridge, which is 3.2 kilometers, the Mwalimu Nyerere hydroelectric power project, which is 2,100 megawatts, supervised also by women. We have National ICT Broadband Project, countrywide fiber network, which is supervised by one of our own, Engineer Pendo, she's also a member of our institution. So through collaborations with partners such as Engineers Registration Board, and we have reached over 77,681 secondary school girls. We have visited 132 schools across Tanzania, and we have engaged with 311 teachers. Our fellowship program supports final year university students in transitioning from academia to workforce. To date, we have mentored over 630 university students, making this one of our most impactful sustainable programs. And through the Girls in Engineering, the Pink Heart program, we aim to reach 1 million girls in STEM awareness and inspiration, building a strong future pipeline for women engineers. And lastly but not least, the Mama Mhandisi Award. This recognizes outstanding women engineers, increasing visibility and creating role models. Many awardees have gone to hold high-level government positions. They've also led impactful sustainable innovations. Therefore, through these initiatives, the Institution of Engineers Women Chapter continues to strengthen the STEM pipeline in Tanzania and expand opportunities for women engineers to contribute meaningfully to national and global development. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Katima. Good work you have been doing, and for this I commend the Institution of Engineers Women Chapter. And this is goes to the say that when you empower a woman, you have empowered the nation. So we have seen how the impacts have been propagated to the young girls across Tanzania. Thank you very much. Next, I would like to invite an interventions. As she has highlighted in her speech that Institution of Engineers Women Chapter, they are working with other partners, and they do recognize the initiative of other partners who are promoting STEM education in the country as well. So I would like to welcome Project Inspire to share the short video insights on how the program supporting girls in STEM are helping to nurture future innovators in Tanzania. Project Inspire.
Tanzania recently decided to improve how children experience science, technology, engineering, mathematics education through the new national education curriculum. So the Canadian Embassy in Tanzania, through UNICEF, supported Project Inspire to establish these beautiful spaces that improve how children and young people experience the science, technology, mathematics education through project-based learning. We have transformed different spaces in Songwe, invested heavily in science. Developed countries in the world have invested heavily in science and technology. Tanzania recently decided to improve how children experience science, technology, engineering, mathematics education through the new national education curriculum. So the Canadian Embassy in Tanzania, through UNICEF, supported Project Inspire to establish these beautiful spaces that improve how children and young people experience the science, technology, and mathematics education through project-based learning. We have transformed different spaces in Songwe, Bora, and Igo. We're able to put in these new technologies in ways that children can experience STEM education in a way that they wouldn't otherwise be able to do. Project Inspire is very happy and proud to tell you that finally we have 3 good centers in Songwe, Tabora, and Roma that now children can access. Also work with teachers, the community, in such a way that they are the full partners in improving how this learning happens. We have a special emphasis for girls. 80% of the beneficiaries we're targeting to be users of our spaces are girls. And this is essentially in order to bridge the gap that is existing within STEM careers, in STEM education, so that there are more women represented in spaces. And we're happy to share this information with you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Project Inspire. We commend your organization for the good work. And also, we would like to recognize her presence, Dr. Vanessa Chilunda. She's a co-founder of the Project Inspire. She's here with us virtually. Dr. Vanessa. Okay, our next intervention is going to highlight the role of technology, competition inspired young people to pursue STEM career. I now invite Engineer Tegemea from WECA to share the initiative and how they are helping to promote STEM education in Tanzania. Engineer Tegemea, the floor is yours.
Thank you, moderator. Yes, Mfano, and our guests. WECA is a non-governmental organization. WECA means Women in Energy and Climate Action. It was established under the Ministry of Gender, under the Ministry responsible for gender. Our main focus is to provide education and trainings to girls so as to empower them in energy sector, and conducting research and innovations, and also to provide education on STEM. We've been involving with other stakeholders in other countries. Our core values are gender equality, sustainability, inclusion, and collaborations. The objectives of our objectives include promoting STEM education for youth, especially girls in Tanzania and globally, to foster teamwork and innovations among nations, promote collaboration in addressing real-world global issues, and also to provide hands-on experience in STEM. We have been actively involved in Tanzania and globally. This is the Tanzania involvement in global, as summarized. Since 2017 to 2024, we have been participating in various competitions globally, involving the robotics. 2017, we participated in USA, where we, out of 7 who are participants, 4 of them were girls. 2018, we participated in the competitions in Mexico, where we were able to bring one boy and 1 girl. And up to 2024, in 2024, 4 of our girls and 1 boy participated in Greece. As you can see in the table, this data shows how we have been trying to include the inclusivity for girls to participate in robotics. This table summarizes our involvement in local exhibitions. We've been participating in exhibitions organized by the women engineers and also by the Ministry of Education. Okay. Our impacts can be seen here summarized is to promote STEM interest in schools, provide global exposure to Tanzanian youth, to build technical and leadership skills, encourage further studies in robotics and STEM in general, and also to provide a platform whereby girls can showcase their national talents. So among our, that one summarizes the competitions which we have been attending. As you can see, the competition attended by 100% all African countries, 92% Asian countries, 87% countries from Europe, 100% countries in North America, and 92% countries in South America. Okay, let's play a short video summarizing.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I've been told that they're working on the video. So as we move along without wasting any time, I would like to welcome another interventions coming all the way from Mexico. This will be delivered by Santiago Presencia, who is available with us so that he can share what they are doing in their work called Shift. Mr. Santiago, you're welcome. So while we are waiting for the technology to allow us to continue, or maybe Mr. Santiago can continue to talk about that. Okay.
Hello. First of all, my name is Santiago Presencia. I came all back from Mexico. I'm 16 years old, and in this conference, I learned many things about in women in STEM and all that. Also, I want to present a project that we have been working in Mexico the last month of 2025 and this 2026. Our project is about making women empower in business. We have been we have been working with the Mexican government of our state. I'm from Monterrey, and the state of Nuevo León is the state on the northern part of Mexico. Our organization is called SHIFT. It's about immigrants, but we are focusing right now on women. Our project is about, as I said, empower women at business. We already our mission is to join with women that they support mutually. Also, providing them positions and our support in the all about business. We have been providing them organizations that organizational institutions that have been working with them. Also, want to make many. Also, we are working and on the project that some group have been working on a project called Jacintep with a potential powerful in business, can work on to form all services in different parts of the Mexican government and other parts. This project has been working, as I said, the last 2 months of 2025, and we want to expand this project worldwide. That's why I'm right now here presenting this project with all these great women that have been so brave to present the project that they have been working. And I really like all the proposals that have been implemented in the work and all that. Also, We have several projects. Another one is a social incubator that has been working uh, to cover all the necessities that women have, and we want to make that women can make all the things that they all the things that they want if they propose. So we want like the men and women have the same equal things because they can do whatever they want. They can make the difference in the world. That's why we're here. That's why shift is what we want to do. We want to make a difference in the world and how and why we want to make like how young people can enter to all this political and stuff that many else you can. But yes, we can and we can make a difference. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Santiago. And now I'll also welcome 1 minute intervention from Dr. Rui. They are promoting education through artificial intelligence. Dr. Rui, the floor is yours.
All right, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Ray. I'm president of the International AI Association, and we operate in 22 countries. Uh, and I'm also the leader of a very powerful alliance. We built the biggest AI computing center, by capacity, the most AI computing centers in China. I'm the first one to brought up the idea that AI literacy should be the new basic human right in the UN conferences. And I definitely believe that AI can help women and girls to get better education. So that is the very key method to narrow the gap between men and women. Uh, and since China has the one of the most leading AIs, so I want to share a little bit. So in education, Chinese kids started from age 6. They started to learn AI and the robots. And the whole society is one of the most positive mentality to welcome AI. Also in the industry field, that's the most popular idea right now is one person company in China. And that makes every entrepreneur, they are encouraged to use AI as much as possible. And there is a big problem about using AI, that is the energy. So we also need to build energy infrastructures, not only in China but in Africa. So and also there will be a lot of social problem using AI, that is like a large scale job losses and at the first stage, and also the loss of people to people's connection. And so we can cooperate on that to solve problems, and we can cooperate on that on AI education, AI infrastructure, energy infrastructures. So thank you very much, and welcome to China. Welcome to Beijing.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rui. Before we move to our final segment, probably we would like to play that video from Weka. Thank you very much, Rebecca. We commend the organization for the good work. And now I would like to go directly to our panelists. We need to have 1 minute call of action from each one of you. To start with, I'll start with Dr. Alice. 1 minute call of action from your side. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, equity must not only be required, it must be embedded in policy and reinforced through recognition. So we must continue building systems that enforce inclusion while acknowledging those who actively advance girls in STEM. That is how we move from intention to transformation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will now call Tamamila. 1 minute call of action.
Thank you, Engineer Mkufu. Thank you, Engineer Mkufu. The chapter aims to increase women's participation in engineering and bridge the gender gap in the profession. Henceforth, we call for partnerships and collaborations. And the call to action is very clear that Tanzania cannot afford to leave talent behind. Professional institution, we have to lead by example, creating environments where women engineers can thrive, can influence decisions, and shape the future of the profession. The Institution of Engineers Tanzania has already laid important foundation, but now is that moment where we need to scale up, accelerate, and institutionalize these efforts so that every girl aspiring to be an engineer can see a path, a mentor, and a role model ahead of her. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now we go to Dr. Zainab. 1 minute of action.
Okay. So we call upon governments, development partners, private sector actors, and global stakeholders to partner with us in advancing gender equality in engineering and STEM. To scale our impact, we seek strategic collaboration and sustainable funding to expand our outreach to undeserved communities, to strengthen mentorship and transitioning programs, to support innovation among young engineers, and to accelerate the Girls in Engineering initiative toward reaching 1 million girls. Investing in women engineers is not only a matter of equity, it is a strategic investment in innovation, economic growth, and sustainable development. Together, we can build an inclusive and resilient engineering future.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zainab. Now I call Madam Irene. 1 minute call for please.
Thank you so much, moderator. This one private sector should be fully engaged in all our initiatives, including STEM initiatives, foster innovation, investment, and also job creation. And also institution system for monitoring and evaluation should be strengthened to include key performance indicators.
Thank you very much to all of our speakers of today. And we will now open the floor for question and reflection from the participants. Please briefly introduce yourself and keep your question focused so we can hear from several voices. Okay, it's a lot of hands up on my side. Probably we start from the one at the back.
Habari zenu, my name is Ashley Nani from diaspora here in Washington, D.C. Being a scientist for 25 years in the US, I saw an urge for us to connect with Tanzania, and I was asking for a favor to be inclusive in this agenda that we can participate, especially for the conference happening in Tanzania. I would like to participate. We never had information for this conference going on there. Second, I'm representing UNESCO for Peace. I work with them to bring youth from different countries to come here, and I've never had a chance to bring Tanzania. So I'm here. Use me.
Thank you very much, our esteemed partner, and we are happy to welcome you to our conversation. Another hand who's coming from this direction, madam, please.
Thank you very much.
Switch off, switch off.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. My name is Joyce Atba.
and I'm a girls' education advocate and youth inclusion advocate as well. I'm from Ghana. And when it comes to efforts in promoting girls and women in STEM, I see more effort and I commend it in inspiring and empowering our young girls to consider this field, right? But I don't see much work in creating jobs for them. So at the end of the day, they are empowered. They come out and there are no jobs. And some of them are very good. I have personally seen Ghana lose certain talent to the global world, which is not bad due to this lack of job, right? So, and I know some of the speakers also highlighted this as an issue. How can we practically, maybe from today if possible, take steps to ensure that we are creating jobs to maintain this talent in our continent, to improve our continent, so that it is not like we are training them for the global world, but we are retaining them in Africa to improve Africa. Thank you.
Maybe we take some question and then I'll be answering them now. Another hands, please. Yes, welcome.
Hello, I'm a 16-year-old youth advocate from Tanzania, and I truly commend what Tanzania is doing. It's truly remarkable. And my question to you would be, another huge structural barrier in STEM fields facing women is that when they're growing up around traditional gender roles, especially from parents, they see women in fields such as nursing and motherhood instead of engineering. So how can we adjust the vision of parents to help them raise girls to be aware of fields such as engineering, mathematics, and STEM? Thank you.
Another hand, please. Welcome.
I'll try and be as audible as I can. My name is Joy. I'm from the World Energy Council. I'm regional manager for Africa. I'm based out of London. And I just want to commend the Tanzanian government and especially the women in energy and climate action. I'm very impressed with your work. In January 2025, in Tanzania, they launched the Mission 300. So you see that the Tanzanian government has always been at the forefront of conversations on energy in Africa. So we're just saying we're open and the plan to launch the World Energy Women Africa. We would like good collaboration from the Tanzanian part. So yes, happy resource.
Nice to have you, madam. Another hand, please. Yes, I will decide and I'll come back. Okay, madam.
My name is Akina from Nigeria. Essentially, I work in the marketing and also part of NGOs, which is what we have. A lot of women NGOs. Because of my formal work, what we are doing is to let women know, not just females, but males as well. For female research, there's a whole lot of opportunity in the seafaring trade that Africans get involved in because of that's the low-hanging fruits. We have teaming youth. What is the qualification required? Science. And like the 15 and 16-year-olds, graduates of secondary schools, or maybe we call it another name, after primary, you have a secondary school or higher education. And there's room for them to be nautical engineers, naval architects, the ship officers, and this is what Africans need to know. Because we have the teeming youth. In Nigeria, more than 40% are youth. And somebody talked about job opportunities. If the normal ones, everybody, when you grow up, if at all, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be an engineer, you want to be a medical doctor, those are the traditional forms. Now, even if, no matter the profession, there's a role for you in the maritime industry. In Nigeria, we have some female cadets, and they are doing very well because my office actually, we train them and they come from different areas of the country, but that is not enough. Why? Well, there's a depth of seafarers and the master mariners, they are aging or they have aged. Philippines right now, I don't know if you can be they're the largest, they are known for that. So this is one area that has evolved to developing world, not just because we have the capacity. And what is that? Human capital. We have them in lots. And they are wondering, what do I do? So we can groom a whole, they don't even know. Direct them, they can have careers there because, of course, the currency of shipping is USD. So you can train local as far as your institution is accredited, or you train a foreign. We train both. We have the local institutions, we have the foreign institutions, and the challenge we have in Africa or in Nigeria is because we don't own vessels. So there are times we have to pay, like internship, to have them on board. Many are not engaged, particularly the ones that train themselves, but it's good. So, like Tanzania, they came to our office for what is it called? Fact finding, the Maritime Authority of Tanzania, and they came with Zanzibar. I think there's a connection. So these are the things that we need to know in Africa. There's a lot of work, willing work in that area. So we can get people involved. And you can choose if you want to do the cruise line, if you want to do the oil tanker, if you want to do the bulker, what line do you want to do? And there are specific training. The maritime industry is very much regulated. You must be qualified to be on board those vessels, and there are openings. And because of the globalization, you can now work on board foreign vessels. That is what has happened, so that so there's a whole lot of about it. You can tell your people, like female engineers, you can now train. It's like after being an accountant, you can go through your chartered, even though not professional, further training. So even if you qualified as an engineer, you can do a 1 year certificate course on the naval aspect of it. Whatever they are maritime lawyers, if that is a whole field. In my office alone, we have over 30 lawyers, and this is a government arm. For the private arm, and of course, with the maritime law, you see what we're talking about here, like the trafficking. Some are going to stow away on board vessels. Money. So, information is critical.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Madam, for the very good insights. I think after the session, also we'll need to sit down and discuss about. Probably I'll take one hand and then we should allow our panelists to answer the available question. Okay, Madam, one last question before.
Thank you very much. Countries in Africa, and Tanzania is one of the countries. Mine is not really a question, but looking for opportunity for partnerships. It's two boundaries when it comes to STEM courses. And I'm looking for organizations, groups who work with. We are implementing currently a 7-year program in 10 countries where Tanzania will be launching this year. We are giving girls second chance pathways to access tertiary education with a focus on STEM. And in the other countries, you'll find we are giving 80% slots to women, but you find more applications coming from the boys. So what can we do to make sure that girls take up all the spaces and slots available for them? I'm also appealing for gender responsive pedagogy to start right from our secondary schools, the teacher training colleges. Let's put more investment where we know girls need the employment, because all the work we are doing is still not getting the effect, the impact that we're looking for. So if it's an organization working with girls to empower them to apply, let's see how we can also include gender responsive pedagogy in our teacher training colleges so that we get the right models right from when they're young and they're able to take up engineering. And then thank you very much for
Thank you very much,
quickly, Dr. Tulinavi, can you please address the questions from the.
Thank you, Engineer Mkufu. I see most of them recommendations and suggestions, which we appreciate and we take them on board. And we are happy that for the kind of collaboration which has been extended to us. We hope to get in touch with you after this session. With regard to specific questions, one colleague has raised a concern with regard to employment space, that we may inspire them, promote and everything, and then they get motivated, they get into engineering, and then they come out, jobs are limited. We see that as a significant concern also. It's something that we are working on, but one way around it, that's why we see these various activities which aim at building skills in such a manner that, the way our name defines us, engineers, we use scientific knowledge to address society challenges. So with skills in place, we believe one way we can empower our girls who are graduating is with skills to work around the existing societal challenges. So through self-employment, that is one way, which is we see it as a potential way. And we can see through the works around, for example, we work at the robotics, they see challenges, they build on something. So that mindset is something that we are trying to work hard on. But at the same time, of course, we work with our government partnership and international organizations to see how best we can create enough space to accommodate the graduates which are coming out. But at the same time, how do we inform, for example, the parents? Some of the students or graduates, they come from families which have no role models, I'll say, who are in engineering or science. We understand that. That's why in one way we see that we are change agents in the sense that we are visible examples, and through various scenarios, when we participate in these national dialogues, when we are able to perform and make an impact, we believe that also gets into our seniors, our parents, those who don't have a background in science. In one way, we believe over time, with more of these activities, we can inspire them also to support effectively. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Inaze. Actually, due to time, I would like to thank all of you for the very good session we had today. And we are hoping that we can continue our conversation after this event. So I would now like to welcome Madam Maureen Amos Waimali, Head of Finance and Accounts from TANAPA, to give us a closing remark. Madam Maureen.
Thank you, moderator. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, colleagues, and partners, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the close of this important dialogue, allow me to express a sincere appreciation to all our panelists, partners, and participants for the rich and thoughtful contribution shared today. The discussion has affirmed the fundamental truth that the underrepresentation of women and girls in STEM is not the question of capability, it's the question of the systems. We have heard clear that the barriers limiting girls' participation in STEM, related professionals and structure in nature. They emerge at critical transition points, particularly at secondary education level, and often widen as girls move toward tertiary education and professional practice. We have also had that isolated intervention, while impactive, are not sufficient. As policymakers and administrators, our responsibility is to translate successful initiative into institutional frameworks. As Tanzania advances implementation of the revised National Gender Policy of 2023 and the revised Education and Training Policy of 2023 and our broader national development priorities under Vision 2050, we recognize that inclusive STEM ecosystem are essential to achieve a competitive knowledge-based economy. Today's dialogue has strengthened network across discipline and reinforced the importance of multi-sectoral collaboration. The presence of women, professionals, engineers, and across STEM-related sectors remind us that progress accelerates when institutions work together rather than in silos. As we leave this session, let us move from dialogue to implementation. Let us ensure that recommendations emerging from this side events inform policy refinement, program design, and post CSW engagements at the national and international levels. Breaking barriers is not one-time effort. It is a continuous process of reform, evaluation, and improvements. On behalf of the government of United Republic of Tanzania, I reaffirm our commitment to advance gender-responsive structural reforms and enable women and girls to thrive in STEM, not only as participants, but as leaders, innovators, and decision makers. We look forward to continued collaboration with UN agencies, development partners, professional bodies, and all stakeholders committed to building inclusive and sustainable STEM system globally. Together, we can transform system that opportunity is not determined by gender, but by talent, ambition, and dedication. I thank you and I wish you all continued success in the liberation of CSW 7. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and that's my second.
Photo session.
Bye-bye. We are done. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.